Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
Oh boy, was Sean Payton having a day ahead of training camp. The veterans finally reported today, which we were recording this on July 23rd. Right now, it is officially day one out there for training camp. We are there. We are getting you guys all the coverage that you need. But Coffee Break is going to look a little bit like this because it just overlaps technically with when practice is getting over. Sean Payton's about to talk here in just a little bit, so there's a ton to dive into. But let's just recap everything that you need to know up until this moment. That way, as soon as all the new stuff comes out, you feel like you are ready to go. Sean Payton was a little spicy. He was back to business. OTA, minicamp, Sean Payton, loosey-goosey, no longer. He was definitely fired up and ready to go. Whether he was in a good mood with the media or not in a good mood with the media, I guess we'll never know. The new design of Coffee Break will only be for training camp. It's going to be like a training camp edition of it, essentially with the biggest storylines that you need to see, which will obviously be on your screen right here. We're going to talk quarterback battle. We're talking Quinn Miners, Caden Sterns. The word balance. Apparently, Sean Payton's not a big fan of that word. Depth chart, Portland Sun, and the national meeting ratings. Again, training camp at day 0 that you will see down here in the screen down below. My name is Rachel V. Hill. Let's dive into it. There is so much to get into. But let's start with the quarterback battle because that seems to be obviously what everybody has in mind. You've watched Coffee Break before. You have heard me talk about it time and time again. The longer they do the 3 quarterback battle, the worse it's going to be for this team. You have to find chemistry. So they need to figure out 3 quarterbacks down to 2, down to 1 very, very quickly. And it seems like Sean Payton does, in fact, agree with that statement. Now, how long is it going to take? Nobody knows. And Sean Payton's definitely not giving us any sort of idea of how long that could take.
Yeah, Coach, your quarterback rotation coming in. We know you started number 1. All 3 had reps with the first team offense. How are you going to do it here in camp?
Yeah, we'll mix it up again. Obviously, it won't stay that way for the long term, but as we get started, we'll keep you posted, and eventually we'll settle into the routine we want.
Sean, following up on that, then does it just go from 3 to 2 to 1, or I guess how do you envision sort of the?
We'll keep you posted. I'm not going to sit here and lay out here's how it goes, because I think the mistake made is deciding how it goes. Organically, this my experience I think we'll see a rotation initially, and then we'll move on from there.
We'll keep you posted. We'll keep you posted. We'll keep you posted. We heard a lot of that coming out of Sean Payton's mouth today. We'll keep you posted on if they're going to get a contract extension done with Pat Surtain. Interesting. Do they want one? Of course they want one, but we'll keep you posted. We'll keep you posted on what it's going to look like with the quarterback battle over at denversports.com. So don't you dare think that for one day we won't be talking about the quarterbacks. That's what everybody is paying attention to. But this makes me believe that the answer is going to be a lot closer than we think. And I think Sean Payton wants to narrow it down from 3 down to 1 as fast as possible. I think we're already down to 2. I think it is truthfully between Jarrett Stidham and Bo Nix. I almost said Zach Wilson. Between Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham, I think that's who it's already between. I think it's going to very quickly in the first week come to conclusion of that and then go from there. How long it takes that 50-50 battle, I'm not exactly sure, but it's going to be really interesting. Unless for some reason Zach Wilson comes out of nowhere and he starts throwing some slingers down the field, then I guess we'll see what happens. But right now, I think it's a 50-50 quarterback battle, and hopefully they can get it down to 1 guy sooner rather than later. But we'll get you posted on everything. Okay, Quinn Miners obviously got a huge $80 million contract extension last week, which was really exciting for him. He signed it. He was looking spiffy. I think we've got the picture for you. Oh, yeah. Big man is looking spiffy. Sean Payton even commented, said, missed his fashion statement, heard it was something else. Yes, indeed it was. He looks good, though. I love that he so much appreciated the fact that, he was able to get this far, and he came from a school that nobody had heard of in the 3rd round of the NFL draft. And it's so cool to see how far he's come. He had to thank his dad, who was bringing him like pounds of beef. And he would be like, my dad and I would just meet, and I believe it was a Best Buy parking lot, and we would swap it, and he helped me out. And he's like, even my wife, I have to thank her. She always believed in me more than I believed in myself. And when I moved in with her to her apartment, she let me even bring in some weights so that I could keep going at it. So a huge shout out to Quinn Miners. He was fabulous too when he talked to the media. And Sean Payton said something very interesting. For a lot of us fans, for a lot of us media, the most important position in football and in sports for a lot of people is the quarterback position, not in Sean Payton's eyes. He says that it's the most important position group on the roster is in fact the offensive line. And I mean, they do control so much when it comes to the game of football. So that was a little interesting tidbit. He definitely went off a little bit on that position group and how it was really important for them to get this done, or this deal done with Quinn Miners. So obviously got it done, $80 million 4-year extension. That's massive for them. And the way it sounds with a lot of the other extensions, Pat Surtain, Cortland Sutton, for a lot of those guys, it feels like that was not a necessity to get done. Quinn Miners, they wanted to make sure got done. Quinn said he appreciated his agent as well, because his agent essentially didn't involve him at all until it came down near the end and just figured it out for him. And he did know close to, I believe he said OTAs or minicamp, one of the two, but he knew that a deal was going to be coming. So they obviously like what they saw out of him. And Sean Payton did in fact say Quinn Miners probably was one of the best players out there at OTAs and minicamp for the offseason, because when our very own Cecil Lammey brought up Lucas Krull being it, well, Sean Payton had something to say about that.
Coach Cecil Lammey, Denver Sports. I'm going to piggyback on the Greg Dulcich thing. How far behind is he based on Lucas Krull was maybe your best player this entire offseason? And I hope you had a good summer, by the way.
I do too. But did you say Lucas was our best player or best tight end?
It's arguable. He was among
No,
the
it wasn't.
best.
No, it wasn't.
No?
All right, I'll answer your question,
Okay.
but you're not close.
Tell me who was that?
We expect the tight ends to be back. We expect Greg to practice. I don't expect anyone to be on his piggyback or anything like that. I expect Lucas Krull to make progress like he has. We were encouraged with what he did. And I think that position is important. These guys present different skill sets. Some guys block better, other guys are better receivers. Hopefully Greg can stay healthy, and we go from there.
Coach Woody Page, I didn't introduce.
But I would go with Miners. I would go with Surtain. I would go with these other players if you were wanting to know.
Woody Page, parts unknown.
Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, Sean was so sassy. It was so fun to watch. Everybody in the media started laughing immediately because he was just being so Sean Payton. It was entertaining. It was funny. He's clearly back down to business, and I thought it was fascinating that Lucas Krull, in a lot of our eyes, he's looked like a stud. And I mean, Cecil Lammey has been extremely high on Lucas Krull, but the fact that Sean Payton's like, no. If you're Lucas Krull also, you are definitely paying attention and wanting to get better, because you have not impressed Sean Payton at all. I'm going to be interested now to see kind of what that looks like. I mean, this clip is essentially almost going viral at this point because Sean Payton was just being Sean Payton, but how fascinating. Lucas Krull did not top the top players. Quinn Miners obviously did, thus leading to a contract extension, $80 million, 4 years. Congratulations to him again. Lucas Krull, not there. Pat Surtain, obviously they want to keep him, but we got another, we'll keep you posted when it came to his contract extension. Now let's talk about the word balance. Oh, I feel like all of us love a little balance in our life. Well, our very own Zach By asked him about the balance of trying to figure out and watching all of these quarterbacks to figure out who's going to be out there week 1 in Seattle. And Sean Payton was not a fan of the word balance. He ends up coming back multiple times and talking about the word balance and balance and balance. And it's not about the balance of finding the right guy. It's about finding the right guy. And that's what that's what they're wanting to do. And that's what they're going to do. Find a guy that can go out there and win football games. And he was I don't know the exact word. He was so angry over the word balance And I don't know if it's because they don't think that they have the right guy and he took the question the wrong way, but he wanted to make sure everyone understood that they will have the guy who will be ready to go, which again leads you back to the quarterback battle of, I think we're going to be narrowing it down from 3 to 1 very, very quickly. I do not think it's going to take the whole training camp. I think they understand that the more consistency that the offensive line has, the running backs have, wide receivers, everybody has, the better for the long term. So I think that's actually really good news for all of us. We want to know who's going to be week 1. Is it going to be Bo Nix? Is it going to be Jarrett Stidham? Is it going to be Zach Wilson? Is somebody going to get cut? What's it actually going to look like when it comes to this 3-man rotation? So I do think it'll be very interesting, but I think it's going to be on the horizon a lot more. And we learned the word balance, not for Sean Payton. It's all football. There is no balance to it, apparently. The depth chart was something else that I thought to be really, really interesting. We missed Caden Sterns real quick. I was like, I feel like I'm missing something. Caden Sterns, they asked on him being back in form, and Sean Payton, again, was very, very quick to answer, and he'll just see, we'll see. Like, that was it. That was it. There was no more. We're not going to discuss Caden Sterns, which was very interesting in my eye because obviously coming back from injury, I thought that they'd be like, we're excited to see what he's able to bring. It was very much a we'll see, which makes me think that he's just like he's on Sean Payton's like kind of radar. Like he's just there a little bit, not too much to think about. So that was a little interesting tidbit that I think got kind of just hidden on the day with everything else that was going on with Sean Payton being Spicy Sean. So yeah, that was interesting. I will definitely be paying attention to how Sean Payton assesses Caden Sterns and everything. But again, we'll see. We'll keep you posted, and we'll see was something that came out of his mouth a lot today. So Caden Sterns, I'm watching you, dude. How are you going to look getting back into form? Depth chart. This is actually something that Sean Payton has said the past year, and now obviously year 2 here with him, was about the depth chart and how you're not competing with just the guys on this team. You're competing with everybody in the NFL. And I think sometimes even as media members, myself, I think that they're just competing with everybody on this team. And that's in fact not the truth because Sean Payton may not even have his 53-man roster here on this team. They could end up going and getting somebody from the Ravens or the Raiders or the Jets or whoever when the end of training camp comes, which also goes back to the question of the Dallas Cowboys, which have been rumored to be interested in Javonte Williams. So Javonte Williams is not only going out here to prove that he has a spot on this Denver Broncos team, but if for some reason he were to get cut, to make sure that he gets picked up by another team. And I just always find it to be so fascinating that, yeah, they're competing a lot for the here and now, but you are definitely competing for all of the other spots in the NFL. And Sean Payton always wants to make sure that that is known because the depth chart means nothing in his eyes, means a lot in all of our eyes, but for him, it means nothing. You are competing for the best spot in the NFL all together. So just another little interesting Sean Payton tidbit for you guys. Now, Courtland Sutton. Everyone wants to know, is he going to show up to training camp? He will, in fact, be there, according to Sean Payton, and it does not sound like a contract extension is anywhere near getting done. When asked about him, essentially, they came back to say, and there won't be, and by that, I'm assuming it means there won't be any more talks when it comes to a contract extension, which I've been saying for a while now. He has to go out and do a 1,000-yard season. Like, that's what you want. If you are George Payton and Sean Payton, you are looking at Courtland being like, you need to be a 1K guy. That's it. You want to be paid like wide receiver number 1? Well, then you need to get out there and prove that you can be a 1,000-yard player. And I think that's totally reasonable. Everybody wants them to re-sign him. But yeah, we all love Courtland Sutton. But let's be real. 700 yards doesn't cut it for wide receiver number 1. You need a better wide receiver right there. So I love that Sean Payton shut down any of the talk about Courtland Sutton. He was clearly like, I'm done having this conversation. There won't be any more talks about it. Courtland Sutton will be at training camp when we start today, which is so exciting. And yeah, that's it. That's all that needs to be said about Courtland Sutton. There won't be. And I think that's the right move by the Denver Broncos. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Now, last one for you, national media ratings. Obviously, if you paid attention, especially if you watch Denver Sports Daily 10 a.m. weekdays, you hear a lot about the ESPN Power Rankings or the Fox Sports Power Rankings. We tend to all do those. Bleacher Report always has like a bunch of them, The Athletic. And we always talk about where they're rating the Broncos. And it's never really that high. But Sean Payton had a very, very good response to remind you that he is, in fact, Sean Payton, the guy that led the Saints to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, he's not backing down. So he may hear the noise, but he pays no attention to it. Take a listen.
Look, if I spent time on that, in 2006, we would have never gone to the NFC Championship game. And I mean that seriously. Back my first year as a head coach in New Orleans. I don't have time to spend time on that, nor do I wish to spend time on it. I understand they have a job to do and where we're selected, and none of that means anything. It's stuff to talk about when the media cycle is quiet. We'll get ready to play, and we expect to compete. We expect to win.
One of the most interesting things for me, like along with all of the national media that comes out and talks poorly about the Broncos, is no matter what, they're still in the headlines because of Sean Payton. It was because of Russell Wilson. Now it's because of Sean Payton. They're still in the headlines, whether they think the Broncos are going to be good or they're going to be bad. And it has a lot to do with who Sean Payton is, what he's done with quarterbacks, what he's been able to do. And it'll still be like that for the next couple of years, as long as he's here in Denver and as long as he's coaching. So do I believe that he listens to it? I think he hears it. I don't think he's stupid. I think he hears it, even though he may not want to. But we know the players did. A lot of players have joined 104 Through the Fan and have talked about how they've heard the noise and they're going to prove them wrong. They're keeping receipts. And James Merrillatt gets pissed off about keeping receipts. But I think they all do hear it. And I think it provides just a little chip on their shoulder to be like, hey, you know what? You can talk smack about us, but we're going to be a better football team than all of you think, and they've got something to prove this year. It's better to have low expectations for you and to rise above than to have really high expectations and to drop and not have anything. So it's going to be really interesting to see, obviously, where the Broncos line up. But today is day one of training camp, everybody. I hope you are so pumped. We're going to be bringing all the best coverage. I promise. I'm going to be doing in the sports office vlogs, as you know. Some of them are going to be vertical videos. Some of them are going to be longer videos. Definitely make sure you tune in for them. It's here. It's time. The time is now. OBT, Orange and Blue today. I know it's going to be doing a ton of different content for you. Make sure you're following us all on Twitter as well, because we definitely keep you up to date on everything that's happening as soon as we can. We are not allowed to tweet anything during practice, but as soon as practice is over and press conferences is over, you can find out all the daily scoops on everything that is happening. So there's plenty of good stuff. Also, for everybody that wanted to know about the barbecue, it was delicious food. I'm not going to lie. They always treat us very, very well over there, and we're forever grateful, because training camp can be long and we spend a lot of hours with all of those people, but definitely was a delicious barbecue. So thank you to the Denver Broncos for featuring us and allowing us to do that. I posted a video last night on that, so you can check out my social pages if you would like to see it. You guys, that is going to be it for our training camp day 0 edition. We will be back tomorrow covering everything you need to know on day 1. Like I said, there's plenty of good stuff on the horizon. Football is back in session, everybody. Let me know in the comments what you think of Spicy Sean and if they need to get a deal done with Patrick Surtain, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.